Hey guys, welcome to the RAMZPAUL show. It is Thursday, November 21st. This year is going too fast. It's just crazy. And yeah, I've seen all the comments. Funky dance, funky dance, funky dance. I should be able to do my funky dance tomorrow because I'm back in the wolf's lair. I've been stranded for a few days because my car's been in the shop, but I finally got it out of the shop today. I got it out of the shop. It's working. I'm back here home. I'm in the wolf's lair. I don't have to go back to Fayetteville tonight. So good stuff. Good stuff. And so that means I'll be here to do my funky dance because I know everyone wants my funky dance because Trump won. I didn't know there'd be so much excitement for my funky dance, but I guess I should have known that. So, yeah, guys, if you're new to the show, welcome. We do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 8 p.m. Central, and we have a lot of fun. And we stream on YouTube and Rumble and X. And I'm shadow banned on YouTube, so if you can, go ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube. I'd appreciate it. Also, follow me on Rumble. And on X, I keep growing on X. I'm RAMZPAUL. So follow me, RAMZPAUL on X. I appreciate it. And if you haven't signed up for my Gumroad, Sundays we have our roundtable. It's either Sunday afternoon or Sunday night. This week it's going to be Sunday afternoon, so we get the European people in. Looking forward to that. So last weekend we didn't have a round table because I was traveling. We went to Tennessee, so we're back home, and it's good to be here, and it's good to be here with you guys. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and if you want to interact with the show, there's Super Chats, and Super Chats has something now called a goal. I'm not really sure how that works, but if I get like 5 Super Chats, I make my goal, and I'll do our Trump dance. I don't know. I'm still learning how that works. But on YouTube, Rumble has rants, and then there's power chats right here, and then there's stream elements. So thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. All right, it's been a busy day. There's a lot of breaking news. Let's see here. One of the big breaking news right before the show started was this. Well, if you guys haven't heard, Matt Gaetz has withdrawn from the nomination. Maybe I'll go over that first, and then I'll go to his backup. And it is disappointing, but it's not up necessarily to Trump because the Republican in the Senate has to confirm. And according to this, he was 1 vote short in the Senate. Matt Gaetz told people close to him that he concluded after conversations with senators and their staffs that there were at least 4 Republican senators who opposed his nomination. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Susan Collins of Maine, Mitch McConnell, what a piece of shit, and John Curtis of Utah. Mitch McConnell, we got to get rid of that guy. How do you, Kentucky's such a base state. How do you have that little weasel in there? This is a problem. I was hoping Trump would do a recess and appoint these during a recess. But Matt Gaetz, I guess he didn't want the fight, so he dropped out. I don't really necessarily blame Trump for this. Although I don't know. A lot of people say, oh, this was a 4D chess move. And what they mean by that is Trump intentionally picked a man, Matt Gaetz, that he knew wouldn't get confirmed just because that would draw all the arrows to one of the candidates, kind of like the scapegoat, the sacrificial lamb. And so all the shit libs and the media, they get hysterical about Matt Gaetz. And then they kind of lose, they don't get so upset about Tulsi or RFK Jr. Or his other Pete, the defense secretary. That was the theory. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know how much 4D chess Trump really does. I think that's a little bit of a cope. However, and I've obviously never been president, But I would assume before you nominate someone, you wouldn't nominate a person unless you knew there's a good chance they're going to get confirmed in the Senate. I don't know. I would think before you nominated someone, you would send your people out saying, hey, do we have the votes? Is he going to be able to get a majority in the Senate so we can confirm him? If not, I'll just pick someone else now. And Matt Gaetz had that whole scandal, which I think it was sort of bullshit. He was with a 17-year-old girl and they crossed state lines. Supposedly, he denies it, but they had sex, but it was legal age, but they crossed state lines. Again, it was just all a scandal. They called, a pedophile. Having sex with a 17-year-old is not a pedophile. I don't care. I'm not going to say that's, it's not like an 8-year-old. I think it had to do with a lot of that. Plus, Matt Gaetz was very, he was a firebrand. I mean, he went out there. He was pretty tough. He angered a lot of people, which I think is cool. But he made too many enemies. So Matt, after meeting everyone in the Senate, I think J.D. Vance took him around and they talked to everyone. And it's just like, yeah, there's no way here we're going to get you through. We can fight it, but really, we're not going to get these four to change their vote. So what's the point? And so Matt decided to drop out. I don't think necessarily it was 4D chess. I just think Trump picks who he likes. He liked him, and it just didn't go through. He didn't do the checking beforehand to see if you could get him through. So I don't see this. I've seen some people, Trump's already cucking. This had nothing to do with Trump. He picked the guy. The guy just saw he couldn't get through. So don't blame Trump. Blame Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. Blame Susan Collins. Blame Mitch McConnell. Blame John Curtis of Utah. And we have these cucks in the Republican Party that are very weak. And unless they get the fear of being primaried, because I bet all these senators that are in pretty red states, they don't really have to worry about the Democrat. So it's just a primary process. So I hope Elon Musk is true to his word, and he will spend money on challengers to these type of people. There needs to be a punishment if they don't get behind the president. We had an election. It was a mandate for Donald Trump. They need to get on board. And it's disappointing that they didn't, but I always knew that we have a few cucks in there. And so I'm not surprised. But I'm not blaming Trump. Like, he's walking away from MAGA or anything like that. I know there's some black pillars out there. I believe me, I'm willing to black pill when it's ready. I just don't want to bring misery forward, okay? Let's just wait till we get there. Right now, Trump seems to be making good calls. He did pick Matt Gaetz. It's not really Trump's fault he didn't go through. It's not like Trump says, no, I don't want you to run anymore. That's not the case. So that is what happened with Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz got, he was a vote short, it looks like, in the Senate. And let's see here. All right, so now we got a replacement, and we'll take a look at his replacement for Matt Gaetz. And this was just announced. Here it is. Breaking: Donald Trump nominates Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. I think this has to be an old photo because she's like 59 years old. This is not a 59-year-old woman right there. That has to be an old photo. Otherwise, she looks pretty damn good for 59. She looks like 29 there. From the Attorney General of the United States. And we got a little bit of background this came up about her. So let's just take a look at this. Here we go. This was a Fox News update. So let's see here, and let me just cue this video. Then we'll be ready to go. I've never, to be honest, never heard of her before. But the initial signs is she'll be pretty good because the left hates her. So that's a good sign. Here we go.
Happening during this show, just announced, the president-elect has selected Pam Bondi as the next Attorney General of the United States. I'll read from this announcement from the president-elect. I'm proud to announce former Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Pam Bondi, as our next Attorney General of the United States. Pam was a prosecutor for nearly 20 years, where she was very tough on violent criminals and made the streets safe for Florida families. Then, as Florida's first female Attorney General, she worked to stop the trafficking of deadly drugs and reduce the tragedy of fentanyl overdoses deaths, which have destroyed many families in our country. She did such an incredible job that I asked her to serve as our Opioid and Drug Abuse Commission. During my first term, we saved many lives. Again, he goes on to say she's smart and tough and is America First fighter who will do a terrific job as Attorney General. Again, Pam Bondi from Florida, the next nominee for President-elect Trump, who obviously saw today that Matt Gaetz pulled his name from nomination as the votes were not there on Capitol Hill in the Senate for Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Pam Bondi, now the name that the president-elect has put forward in that position.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
All right, so that's Pam Bondi, and I looked her up a little bit because I didn't know, so I just got some details about her. And she was his lawyer in he was one of his defense attorneys, Trump's defense attorneys during his first impeachment. He had 2 impeachments. And she led the legal arm of Trump's aligned America First Policy Institute. And she's been on TV a lot. And I think that's a big thing with Trump. If you're on TV a lot, if he sees you on Fox News, he's going to like you. I don't know if that's the reason to pick someone, but he likes people that are on Fox News. I don't really watch a lot of TV, but she was on Fox News, so that was it. Hey, I got a tip from RP fan. Is that RAMZPAUL fan? Thank you. If when Europeans get their homelands back, will they be as charitable towards the third world as in the recent past? I think we need to. I want to have the Star Trek policy of non-intervention is what they used to call, I think, the prime directive in the original Star Trek. Maybe they got rid of it, but if you ran into primitive cultures, the prime directive was don't mess with them, let them do their thing, don't give them weapons, don't give them food, let them evolve. And I think we made a mistake as we went into Africa, people way behind, and we brought them too fast into civilization, and they're not really ready for it in general. And that's caused a lot of frustration on both sides. And I really don't blame the people, because just imagine you're in the Stone Age and you're brought into civilization, but you still have Stone Age type of mannerisms or behavior. You're going to be frustrated. You won't have the intelligence to compete or the self-control. And so you're going to get very frustrated. So I believe in having different homelands for like the third world. And I'm not joking. I really root for them that they will do well. But I think we should have a policy. Just let it be. Let's don't get involved. Let's don't try to take advantage of them. Let them have their homelands and don't feed them. It's sort of like the wildlife. They say don't feed the wildlife, because if you feed the wildlife, people like it. It's kind of, oh, that's cute. But, like deer, let's say if you always feed the deer, it's cute. But then they don't know how to forage. And a lot of wildlife, like bears in Yellowstone, if you feed them, they become welfare bums, right? And they won't hunt for food anymore. And that causes a problem. And then they could be dangerous because you have bears around you. And this is sort of a metaphor of what happened to us. We fed the creatures and they're not safe to be around. And then they kind of lose their ability to take care of themselves. So I think our policy needs to be goodwill, but not really too much get involved with them. So we will see. But thank you so much for the Stream Elements tip. I really do appreciate that. All right, so going back to Pam Bondi, let's just take a look about here. And again, this was just breaking. And this came quick, so that means Trump already had her kind of lined up, He didn't have to do a long search. She may have been in the original short list of candidates for attorney general. So what, he obviously had her contact information. So when Gates told President Trump that he was going to drop out, he already, I think, knew who he was going to go with. And my initial impression now, she will get through. One thing is because she's a female, so I think that has points. Because, oh no, see, it's the Dems that are the real sexist. So I think that should help some of the more cucky Republicans, like that Senator girl in Alaska, I think it is, or Maine. So maybe we'll have some better things that happen there. All right, let's take a look at some of the reaction we're getting here. And let's see here.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job.
So if he's saying she's competent and to do the job, I think she's going to be nominated. And again, these are people, MSNBC, they're just all propaganda Democrats. They hate Trump and everything. And they're saying they're worried about her because she's actually good at her job.
So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation.
That is good. So if she's really good against immigration, this is a plus.
And moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Yeah, and I want to discuss that with a little more depth with both of you, including her record on civil rights, LGBTQ rights, and other issues that are front and center at the DOJ, and which we know were also big campaign issues this cycle.
Yeah, she's not for all the homosexual stuff, from what I read. I don't know much about her because I just found out about this, like you guys did probably just a few minutes ago, so I had to do a little bit of research. But you sometimes can tell initially based on the reaction of your enemies, and all the bad people really hate her. So that means she's probably pretty good. I don't know though. I don't know for sure, but it looks like she was a pretty good pick there. Let's see here. Some more stuff with Trump. Let me bring this up here. Have my producer bring this up. I think she will get confirmed though. All right, let's take a look at this. They're talking about some, let's see here. Here we go.
Republicans across D.C. breathing a sigh of relief today.
You went out on a limb on this one, and it got sawed off pretty quickly. My advice would be, don't do it again.
We need to be concerned about who he's going to nominate in place of Gaetz. Let's just realize we're in the chaos again.
See, they're saying chaos. That was a word they always use because they disagree with what Trump stands for. Oh, it's just chaos. It's so exhausting. It's causing black women. They just have to sleep because they're trying to carry the world on their shoulders. Like, yeah, if you've ever been around them. Yeah.
And here it is. It's just beginning.
All right. Not too surprising. Reactions over at MSNBC there and to Matt Gaetz' decision to withdraw from consideration as Trump's attorney general to go through the process. So the question is now, who will it be? It's an extremely important position.
So we know that it is Bondi. And I think I'll skip this because this is before they announced it. So I think that will be a good, I don't know much about her, but what I see so far, she looks pretty good. Okay. Some other stuff here. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Hang on here, I got lost here. This is good news. This is the Keystone Pipeline is Trump said on day one he's going to open this pipeline again. So this is going to be good, better, lower energy prices for us.
To do right now.
Put us to work right now. Put us to work. And you will see not only the fuel prices go down, but you will see the price of everything else go down with it.
These gas prices affect everything on the market.
Everything.
Because of transportation.
Yep. Yeah. Everything has to be transported.
He's blocking the probably the biggest contributor to energy in the United States right now. He's pushing for solar and wind power, but it's been proven over and over that's just not as efficient as burning natural gas, refining crude.
Get out of all the politics. You know, we're sick of hearing, you know, this is Putin's price hike.
What do we?
So these are the guys that are want to get involved, and they're excited about starting up on the pipeline again. They're like, yeah, let's do this. Let's start up on the pipeline again. So I think that's pretty exciting. I wanted to see that open. I think a lot of people voted for that. And they are right. Once you open up and start to drill for more energy, this will help to lower prices. So I think this will be a good thing. So yeah, good on that. Good on that. Let's see. So what else we got with Trump here? All right, we're gonna. This is interesting news, especially if you guys have crypto. And this is why crypto's been doing very well ever since the election. Let me just share this for you. We'll take a look at this here.
Hugh, with what that could be and what a Treasury Secretary would be like and what the delay might be is none other than a Shark Tank investor.
Yeah, I don't think a Treasury Secretary has been nominated, so I'm not sure what's up with that.
And O'Leary Ventures chair, Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, what's the problem filling this seat? It seems to be really bedeviling the Trump team.
Treasury is a very big deal because they work in cohort with the commerce, and we've got to get someone here that balances the economy and understands it's not all about large companies, because the Chips and Science Act, the Infrastructure Act, and all the government support during the pandemic did not go down to family businesses in America, which creates 62% of the jobs. So we got to get someone in there that understands that. My vote is Haggerty. He understands that. I also know him, so of course I'm going to be an advocate for him. But this is a crucial position. Big deal, a really big deal.
Right. Do you think Wall Street's going to embrace the Trump philosophy, the tariffs, and some of the things? When you pick up the phone, are they excited about this?
Yes, they are excited, specifically against China. Tariffs are balanced. We've already got to deal with Canada and Mexico and our European partners. We have equivalent tariffs. That's okay. It's China we're at economic war with. I'm a huge advocate for really turning up the heat there and getting them to the table so they're part of the rules.
Yeah, tariffs have been in America for a long time. The original America, during the founding fathers, they relied on tariffs. Tariffs help protect your industry and to keep jobs here in America.
That they agreed to play by in 1999 when they joined the WTO. These guys cheat, they steal, everybody knows it. It's time to really hold them accountable.
So the crypto czar that the president's presenting, no doubt about it, he went to Silicon Valley. He was impressed with what he heard and what he saw. And he's looking at a crypto czar, Brian Brooks, Brian Armstrong.
Crypto czar. See, this is a good thing. Biden and the Harris, they were pretty much opposed to crypto, or especially unless they had like the government version, but that defeats the purpose. But Trump's been all in. And I'm kind of surprised because I didn't think Trump, an older boomer, would know much about it. But he's surrounded himself with some people that are really pro-crypto, probably Elon Musk, Vivek, and maybe J.D. Vance. And that's why we've seen this huge increase in Bitcoin price recently.
Two people whose names come up to help him pick somebody or pick themselves. Your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I agree with him. I mean, Brian is the Coinbase. He's being sued by Gensler right now. His company's under.
So this is the Coinbase. Coinbase is Brian Armstrong. So I know Trump met with him privately.
Litigation from the SEC. We got to stop these shenanigans because this is a tech.
So this is going to be big. So Coinbase, which is the largest exchange And by the way, there's other exchanges, so I'm not endorsing Coinbase. There's a lot of people prefer have their own wallets, and I understand that. But Coinbase is the biggest, and the FCC was suing them. That's going to go away now, I'm sure, with the Trump administration. So good news for all of cryptos, and specifically Bitcoin.
Technology that affects all 11 sectors of the economy. It provides efficiency and digital payment systems, and we have to be competitive worldwide. We need a czar here, and we need to start making decisions. Is it Ethereum a commodity, or is it a security? Pick one and go with it. I don't care which one it is, but we've got to at least pick it. We haven't done that yet.
40 seconds. Your thoughts about Doge, writing an editorial in the Wall Street Journal today, talking about their approach, and they're going to have a channel and inform America what they're cutting. Can they get $2 trillion out of this budget?
Yes, they can. And why wouldn't you want Doge? All it's saying is, let's be transparent when we make economic decisions. Stop letting bureaucrats do it, because we sent our representatives to Congress.
Yeah, this is Elon Musk and Vivek. They're heading Doge, I guess you call it, Department of Government Efficiency. It's kind of a play on that crypto coin Elon has. But yeah, I think why not just put out what you're cutting. I'm a little bit, and if you watch the show, I'm a little skeptical if they're going to be able to make a lot of the cuts, just because it's very difficult to cut in the government. But I hope so. I hope so, and they're going to show what they're doing, and I hope that happens. And also what's cool, this Department of Government Efficiency, it's going to end in 2 years. And as they brag, this is the only department they've ever known in the government that has an end date. So I think this is good. Elon Musk is obviously busy with his other companies too, so Vivek will be running a lot of it. And I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be part of that too. I thought I saw that today.
I'll give you an example. We stopped shipping natural gas to Germany, and they're freezing in the dark. Why do we do that? Some bureaucrat decided that. Congress should decide. I love this idea. Transparency for the people. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. And I would love to see us just maximize oil and gas. Some other good news, the XL pipeline, as soon as President Trump takes over, they're going to get out their ratchet set and start putting it together again from Canada. Kevin O'Leary, thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive because it looks like energy is going to be opened up again in America. We're going to drill again. We're going to have the pipeline open. This is going to allow us to actually export energy. We're going to have a surplus. This should help oil prices to go down, which does lower the prices of everything because everything is dependent upon fossil fuels. Trump is not a big fan on these ugly wind things. They're a disaster. They need to be torn down. And so I'm pretty optimistic with that. And then we're going to have a crypto czar. Then the Department of Government Efficiency. I'm a little bit skeptical, but it could be fun. It's going to be fun just seeing all the stupid things the money's wasted on. So, I'm for pretty much I've been happy what I've been hearing out of the Trump administration. And let me just bring up my favorite pick here. He's talking about we could be in a good golden age here. So let's take a look at this here. And this is Stepen Miller. Stepen Miller is my favorite guy. So let's just take a look at this here. Stepen Miller here.
Hopefully we bring back in, I hope he can hear me, incoming White House Deputy Chief for Policy, Stepen Miller is with us. Stepen, how are you?
I am good, Sean, my old friend. After 9 years, we are here on the heels of a landslide like the world has never seen before, prepared under President Trump's leadership to implement historical, transformative, long-awaited change to make this government accountable to the people of this country once again. It will be, as Donald Trump said, a new golden age for America.
I want to go through how dramatic this is going to be, because what I hear the president is proposing, and look at Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and they're setting up this new department, and they're going to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, and they're going to they pledge to cut by July 4th, 2026, $2 trillion in federal spending. That is a monumental task. And there are ways to do it. I think one way to do it would be to increase revenues. That would be through energy dominance. That's a separate topic. But this is transformative, what the president's talking about. For the first time, we've heard conservatives for years talk about limited government, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. And now somebody, for the first time in my adult life, if you will, to catch a phrase, I'm believing it's going to happen. How real is that they're going to cut to that extent?
Well, the president has put together the dream team. And you just mentioned two members of the dream team. So you have the Department of Government Efficiency that from the outside is going to direct and organize this extraordinary effort to remove all of the waste and the corruption from the federal government. So they will do that in concert and in league with the White House, President Trump, the Office of Management and Budget. Here's the shocking truth, Sean. The departments do not have any clue where the dollars are going. How many audits has the Pentagon failed? Who has any idea how much waste and abuse there is in the trillions of dollars spent by this federal government? Who has any idea how many hundreds of billions of dollars every year are stolen from taxpayers by fraud rings, scammers, foreign operatives? This government is not watching how your dollars are being spent. And President Trump has commissioned Elon and Vivek and many others across the government to get to the bottom of this. So the money that you earn as an American citizen will be jealously treasured and guarded and not wasted any longer. And we are going to go into these agencies and find everybody who is not performing on behalf of the American public. And we're going to say, if you're not providing that service, if you're not serving the public, then you can go.
Well, that's hard, though, because they're civil servants. It's not like you take over a private company like Elon Musk did Twitter and just fire everyone, lay them off 80%. I wish we could do that with the federal government, but I could be wrong. But I think the civil servants is very difficult to fire them. And they're thinking of creative ways to make them quit. For example, make them go to work, because I guess most, like 80% work from home now. It's like a real joke. And a lot of them, they don't really work. They goof off. They have another job. So if you had make them come back to work, that might be one way to get some people to quit. But I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult than the private sector.
The border has been a big issue. How quickly, in your estimation, can that border get secure, number one? And we have known terrorists in the country. We have people that have murdered Americans. We have the Laken Riley trial going on right now. Dozens of dead Americans murdered by Harris Biden, unvetted illegals. We have dozens of Americans raped, hundreds and hundreds victims of violent crime. We have gang members. We have cartel members in this country. How quickly do we secure the border? How quickly do we deport those that are criminal aliens in the country?
It's going to be at light speed, Sean. The moment that President Trump puts his hand on that Bible and takes the oath of office, as he has said, the occupation ends, Liberation Day begins. He will immediately sign executive orders, sealing the border shut, beginning the largest deportation operation in American history.
Yeah, let's just take this one at a time, because I've been in a lot of white pills, but that's okay. I like white pills. We need some white pills. And do I think Trump is going to deport everyone? No, I don't really think that's going to happen. I wish, but we'll take baby steps. I do think he's going to shut the border. It's not going to be like it is under Biden, Harris, where there's pouring in. That's going to stop. So that's good news. And they will start to target especially these violent criminal illegals and get them out.
Finding the criminal gangs, rapists, drug dealers, and monsters that have murdered our citizens and sending them home. No one will be allowed to enter the country illegally, and ICE will be empowered in partnership with FBI, DEA, ATF, the National Guard to fully seal and secure the border with CBP and to find and identify the criminal threats that are inside this country and send them back home. We saw that heartbreaking testimony, Sean. Laken Riley, that precious, beautiful young woman, fought for her life against an illegal alien imported by Biden Harris for 18 harrowing minutes. She fought for her life. And we are going to honor that extraordinary woman. And we're going to honor every victim who has suffered. Under President Trump's leadership, we're going to honor that suffering by unleashing a righteous wave of justice and sending these criminal migrants back home.
Yeah, I think that's good news. And I hope that does happen. I hope that does happen. I know a lot of people are saying that he's going to increase legal immigration, but does he mean whites? I don't know what he means by that. So, yeah, I would like it. I would like this. We don't bring any illegal versus illegal. I mean, what difference does it make? I mean, obviously, you want to get rid of the illegals first and the criminals first. I just hope this is the start and not the end. So I don't know. Well, I hope that's the case. I am a little worried about that, though. I admit, are they going to be strong enough to go after everyone? Because it's more than just illegals. It's also legals that we need to start to deal with. And so I hope the Trump administration moves on that. But we will see. We will see what happens there. All right, let's take a look here. And it's kind of depressing right now because the Biden regime, who's ever running it, it's not Biden, but they're trying to sabotage everything they can in the last 2 months and try to bring in all these aliens and criminals into our country. So just take a look here.
Immigration is quietly loosening immigration policies before Trump takes office.
So what they're trying to do is he's trying to, or whoever's controlling the corpse of Biden, they're trying to poison the well, meaning, Trump's going to put off, he's going to shut everything down on the border on January 20th. So let's just get all these criminals in as quickly as possible in this country. So it will be difficult for Trump to deport them. Because once Trump starts deporting them, all the media is going to go, this is so sad. It's just like Nazi Germany. That's what is going to happen. So they're already trying to poison America. This is just outrageous conduct.
According to the New York Post, it reports the administration is testing a new app that will allow illegal migrants to bypass in-person check-ins.
Well, what does this even mean? You're illegal. How do you give them an app? What the fuck? I mean, we should give them handcuffs or a bullet. I mean, there's if they resist arrest, deadly force. Give them an app. What the hell? That'd be like in your town, we're going to give a rapist an app so they can check in and see where the girls are. We're going to give them a handy app. It's just ridiculous. It's just bizarre if you think about it.
At their local ICE office.
Yeah, coming into the ICE office, you're illegal. Yeah, come here. Here's a phone we'll give you, and here's a nice app that you can use so you get welfare benefits. I mean, you're a police officer. Hey, rapist, you want to rape women? Come to our place. We'll give you an app. You can find out where the girls are.
Jeff Paul is live with more. It sounds like they're just giving Donald Trump one more thing to undo.
Well, John, we do know the Biden administration has been testing this new immigration and customs app, and the idea is to streamline the check-in process for migrants.
See, this is what Kamala Harris, and I said this before the election, when she talked about fixing the border versus what Trump talked about fixing the border, they had two very different meanings into it. Like us, we think fixing the border is keeping these illegals out. Kamala thought fixing the border is getting them in quicker and more efficient. I'm like, no, sweetheart. That's not what we have in mind.
Allow them to use their phones or computers to touch base with immigration officials while they wait for their date in court instead of appearing for those check-ins in person. Now, a source tells Fox News ICE has been using the app already in a couple of cities, but according to the New York Post, it's going to be launched officially.
Why is there an app? The only reason I could think of having them have a cell phone is so you could track them down where they are GPS and put a net around them and throw them out of the country. They should not be having this. This is ridiculous.
Next month in New York City. The field office there.
Or maybe we could do, you remember the Jews in Israel, supposedly with Hamas, they had the beepers that exploded. You remember that? I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe we could do something like that. Here, Juan, here, take this cell phone with an app. And then after a certain amount of time, boom. That'd be a creative way to deal with the issue. That's what the Israelis did. But I don't think that's what they have in mind.
Reportedly has been overwhelmed, fully booked with appointments for a year.
Just send them home. This is just ridiculous. So yeah, they're testing an app for the illegal aliens to coming in. Okay, let's just take a look here. Some more about the left, how they're dealing with all this stuff. Okay, this is the Denver. I don't know how Denver got
Thank
so
you.
stupid, but here we are.
Thank you all so much for being here this morning. I'm
I always love these sign language people. It's so stupid.
here to talk a little bit about the devastating impact of the failure of Republican leadership in Congress this week to pass comprehensive immigration change and the impact that will have on both city budgets and on services that we can provide for newcomers in the city. The second
Newcomers are illegals. They should be arrested.
is we will start to have to greenlight a set of hard decisions about budget reductions across the city to meet those costs that we know will continue to arrive.
So what they're saying is they're going to cut services to the citizens of Denver so they can give the money to illegal invaders. These people, the politicians, they hate you. They despise you.
We want to talk about two of those today. While they're the first steps, they unfortunately will not be the last and may not be the hardest. This is a plan for shared sacrifice. And so in
Look at that, he presumably gay guy there.
terms of our first step on city cuts, we are announcing today we will make some changes both to our services at DMV and to our services on Parks and Rec. Thank you all.
Yeah, the DMV's already screwed up. So, yeah, Denver Mayor Mike Johnson is cutting services for residents so he can reallocate the funds to illegals. And he's saying he won't cooperate with the Trump administration on deportation. Well, that's a felony. To help an illegal stay in this country, you're committing a felony. And if he does that, I hope that the federal government arrests him and throws him into a prison. That's what the former administration loved to do. We got to use the law. These people are breaking the law. He needs to go to prison, and we need to replace him with a mayor that will work a little bit better with the situation. Just really crazy. The final thing I saw, I had no idea about this, but did you see this? So Michael Byrd, the cop that killed Ashley Babbitt, he was a black guy, is an unfit, incompetent, racist hothead with a history of misconduct. I remember he beforehand was written up because he left his gun in like the boys' room or something, who was bribed by Pelosi's police force to keep quiet after the killing and essentially become a ghost payroller living off our dime. Yeah, that was outrageous. And could you imagine if the situation reversed? A white cop shot a black woman in the neck and killed her unarmed. Oh boy, there'd be holy hell to pay for it. But because he's black, yeah, everything's good. There's no issues there. So, yeah, pretty horrible. But that's what we have here. Oh, I got one from Rowhouse. Rowhouse, thank you. Let's take a look. I got a rant. This is a Rams. This is new. A blast from the past. Someone has been quiet lately. All right, let's take a look at this here. Well, thank you, Rowhouse. He sent me a link on X, so we'll take a look at this.
It's important to do due diligence, and you have significant following on social media platforms where misinformation can spread rapidly. How do you ensure that the content you share is not used by foreign entities to amplify narratives that undermine Canadian democracy or national security?
Are you accusing me of spreading narratives that have undermined
I'm just asking
democracy?
you a question, just like, you know, in terms of how do you ensure that the content you share is not used by foreign entities to amplify narratives that undermine Canadian democracy or national security? What measures do you take?
I ensure that every contract I sign and have ever signed in media gives me full creative control of every single thing I say and publish. That's how I ensure it.
Well, there's concerns that individuals or groups may be unintentionally aiding foreign governments in spreading divisive narratives. How do you respond to allegations that your online content has been used to further Russian propaganda or influence Canadian public opinion?
As far as I'm aware, just this month, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced a pause to immigration or a decrease in immigration for the next 3 years, citing unsustainable growth. This is one of the critiques that has been my main critique on tenant media and off tenant media. And having it portrayed as Russian disinformation by this committee or even aiding and abetting Russians has been very interesting. I may understand I may have been right too early on this issue, and as so I must be socially punished by this regime. But although much too late, I happen to believe that Justin Trudeau is making the correct decision there. And I would hope that this committee wouldn't advocate Canadians stop drinking water or wearing seatbelts because someone with the last name Ivanov or Petrov suggested it was a good idea.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because you give your opinion, and if someone else, it's just ridiculous. You speak for yourself. So how can you insure? Well, how can anyone insure, you stupid fat bastard? I mean, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, thank you, Rojas. I thought Lauren Southern, she actually responded pretty well to that. So that was good to see. Okay, so what else is here? All right. So we did that. Okay, the other big news that is happening is Russia did a launch yesterday, and what happened is because the Biden regime gave Ukraine permission to use our missiles to strike within Russia, and that was a new development. And so Russia responded by striking with a long-range missile of their own, and it's a intercontinental ballistic missile. I heard that it's actually medium range, not intercontinental, and it's supposed to be a new type of technology, Putin is saying, but you can see a little bit how it came. Boy, it looks like something coming from the heavens. Pretty intense. So there was a big strike. Putin, the Russians released this new type of weapon. And so I don't know if this will be effective, but supposedly this is a hypersonic weapon that we really don't have, that the Russians have. And Putin says, hey, if we ever use it, we'll let people know you so you can move your civilians, because we don't care we're going to use it. We don't care that we're going to tell you we're going to use it, because there's no way you could shoot them down because they're too fast. So it looks like, and I don't know if this is the case, but it looks like Russia, at least in this instance, is ahead of us in technology. Maybe we've spent too much time with DEI and pronouns instead of developing real technology that will work. So yeah, it's kind of sad to see this is what happened here. Let's see here. I got a one from Tony. Rams, is there a way illegals can be encouraged to leave if welfare was cut out? I wish whoever boasts them in could be prosecuted, or brings them in, I think you mean. Yeah, I've often said it's not that difficult to deal with the illegal alien problem. And as Martin Sellner said, I listened to a speech of his this weekend. He's a Austrian or German patriot. And he was talking about if people immigrate, they can go back, right? So it's not like a force of nature. If they're able to come in, then they should be able to go. And we can make that happen. And there's ways we can make it happen, not just one. And I've talked about them. E-Verify. Make it so if any business hires an illegal alien, you lose your business. Make it so right away, there's no incentive to come into America illegally because you're not able to get a job. Same with welfare. If you're here illegally, you do not get free medical care. You do not get free education. You don't get any free stuff. There's no cell phone with an app. None of that. No. You just have to go back. And if you take away the financial incentives, most of them will go back because they're not here because they love the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. They don't give a shit about that. They don't know anything about that. They're here to get the free shit. So if you cut that off, they naturally will go back on their own. So that's two ways you could do it. And the third way, Tony, you mentioned, and I think this is good, we should use RICO to go after these NGOs that harbor these illegal aliens and help bring them in. Because again, it's just not like some dude in Africa magically finds his way in our border. Soros and other organizations, it's just not Soros, but he's a big one. They spend money and resources to make this happen to hurt our people. That's why they're doing it, because they want to make sure we're no longer a majority white nation. Those people, they need to be considered terrorists, and we should confiscate their bank accounts, and we should put arrest warrants out for them. So that will have that happen too. And then we can build a wall. I am for that, and security on the border, so that should happen. And when we see illegals, we should round them up and deport them. So there are ways to deal with this, and I would like to definitely see that happen. So yeah, thank you for that, Tony. So it is a situation. The Democrats want you to think, oh, it's hopeless. There's no way we can fix the situation. But there is. There's definitely a ways to fix it. So I am optimistic about that. All right. And it's kind of interesting going back to Russia of how things have changed in such a negative way for Ukraine. This is how it started. Ukraine has become a testing ground for Western weapons. They were all excited about that with the war. We could test our new weapons. And now they're complaining, Putin is using Ukraine as a testing ground, Zelensky said. Because again, there's a new type of missile that Russia used. And a little ironic. So we thought we would be testing our weapons there. In fact, Putin is testing their weapons. Now, I could probably get more engagement and get people more excited if I thought, oh, this means World War III, World War III. But I don't really see that happening here. So let's see here. Let me just show you guys here. Hang on. What am I missing here? Sorry, guys. I had to just see something here. Something got hung up a little bit. Sorry about that. Let me see if this works now. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I got that a little bit hung up. And all right, here we go. I'm back. I'm just seeing if everything is going good. YouTube, okay. Let me just scroll up here. All right. So yeah, that was Russia. Let me just check something real. I think we're good here. I think we're good now. I just hung up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. All right. So I'm not necessarily blackpilled though, because this is a clue that Putin gave here. Breaking. Russian President Vladimir Putin is reportedly open to ceasefire talks with the Ukraine so as long as those negotiations are led by President Trump. He means not Zelensky. Zelensky needs to go elsewhere. And not Biden. Obviously, Biden can't do it. So Putin wouldn't have said this if he plans to escalate. So there's a lot of posturing now. And I think an agreement will happen sometime in January, February. I think we'll initially get a ceasefire. And I think that's what will happen. So that's a good thing. All right. A couple other top stories for today. Netanyahu, the top war crimes court issues arrest warrants for Netanyahu. So yeah, the world's top war crimes court issued arrest warrants Thursday for Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister. This is because of targeting civilians. I'm not a big fan of the international court, and it really doesn't mean a lot. And we'll just veto it, the United States. But I do think this is a valid issue. And I don't think anyone would have had issues with Israel going after Hamas. But they've been Israel, it looks to me they just been slaughtering civilians. You just can't really do that. So I don't think he's going to go to be arrested. But it is interesting that this was actually issued. Israel's not that popular anymore. It's really losing a lot of popularity. Even in the United States, especially with the younger generation, it's losing popularity. It's more of the older people that support Israel. So Israel, I think, long-term has some issues coming up. Someone else brought this up yesterday, and I thought this is good to see here. German nationalist and author died at the age of 96. She was sentenced in 2015 because she didn't believe in the Holocaust, and you have to, by law, believe in that in Germany. She wasn't in danger or anything. They told her either renounce her beliefs and go free or face prison sentences, and she decided to remain firm. She was going to not lie about what she means. Oh, is that her? She was pretty when she was young. And she had her beliefs, and I'm not going to get into the debate of the Holocaust, but in a civilized society, you should be free to disagree with a historical event. But they, she was not a threat to anyone. I guess she was a threat. They can't have anyone dispute that topic. So I think that was sort of a little interesting how that happened there. That was also the breaking news. Is she lived a nice long life though. Pretty much everyone from the Holocaust era is dying off now. It's been so long, and that is where we are right now. All right, I'm going to give you another white pill, and I think Bud Light did this very well. Remember, Bud Light had Dylan Mulvaney, and I think that guy, he was a homosexual guy that pretended to be a girl. They put him in a Bud Light ad. It just was totally backfired. And it was almost like the incident that really, I think, finally broke the woke culture. I mean, it still exists, but we see them on the other side now. People are trying to, forget the pronoun nonsense. And there's been a lot of people fighting back now. I've detected that. And I think there's a lot of things that led up to it, but Bud Light and that commercial was sort of the inflection point. And Bud Light, though, I have to give them some credit. They put together another advertising firm to try to deal with this disaster. And I think this is pretty good. Let's watch their ad here.
It is not just a fragrance. It is a feeling. It is a passion.
What? Oh, where'd you get a snake?
We are all lost.
That guy looks like a guy that lives around where I am.
Yeah, I'm lost. I'm 100% lost here.
But we are on the edge.
Hey, all right. This is pocket full of sand?
Pocket full of sand.
Yeah. Hey, I think I'm in the wrong commercial.
What?
Yeah, dude, this isn't right.
Wait, aren't you Andre?
No, I'm Shane. My name's Shane.
Huh. Oh, I see what's going on. You're supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial.
Oh, I'm supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial, not here. So that's why I'm the odd one out down here.
Well, if you're here, Andre is.
I love it here.
Oh, yeah. Something is different about you, ma'am.
That was a good commercial. They took I have to give it to them. So they had a disaster, Bud Light, being woke, and they're trying to figure out how to overcome that. And I think this commercial, they used humor to kind of make fun of the pretentious nature of all these, woke people. And because Bud Light, their demographic is just like a regular guy, right, that works for a living. And that's why the Dylan Mulvaney ad was so out of touch. And this is funny. I think this could do a lot to bring back their customers. because they didn't get defensive. They just put together a humorous commercial, lightly poking fun. And they were careful because they're not poking fun at any, protected people. There weren't any blacks or something. But still, they're making fun of that whole pretentious culture. Yeah, that is a good one. And I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see this here. Okay. So let me just check everything here. All right. And I want to make sure I got everything. It's good to see you guys all too. Thank you so much for being here. And tomorrow's Friday. Oh, wow. K-Max, $50. Woohoo! Rams, when Ben Shapiro takes Israeli money, it is never called a conflict of interest to our democracy. Would they argue the ally versus enemy difference with Russia? I think even if Japan was paying right-wingers, it would be the same thing. Well, yeah, excellent. By the way, thank you for the generous donation, K-Max. I think it's a little different legally because you can, if a foreign government, let's say, is paying me, RAMZPAUL, and I'm open to sell out Putin. No, they've never contacted me, but if I were to receive Russian money, it's not illegal as long as I disclose I'm getting foreign funds. That's the distinction they make, at least in America. I'm not sure about Canada. Now, with AIPAC, see, AIPAC, they run around this loophole. Oh, it's not officially Israeli money, but it is. But they have a legal way around it. It's a loophole. And almost all our congressmen have been funded by Israel, except like Thomas Massey and I think Matt Gaetz. To shows you. I don't know if this other girl, if she's been funded by Israel or not. If she has, she's probably more likely to be nominated, confirmed. So that's a little bit of it. But yeah, I don't. That's why I don't get so upset about when Laura Chin supposedly got money from Russians, because the first thing, when you looked at their content, they really weren't doing a lot of pro-Russian stuff at all. I didn't really see it. But even if they were, like, so what? I don't see that as a huge issue. Russia's not the foreign country that really influences America almost at all. Israel, by far, is the biggest. And you could tell because of how all the politicians lined up. So, yeah, I don't see that as an issue. That's why I don't know if Laura Chin did that. Maybe she didn't fill out the right paperwork. Someone once said, and I kind of suspect that it may have not even been in Russia. It might have been like an FBI sting information, because it's really weird because they gave her like $6 million. And she paid people like Tim Pool, like $100,000 or something crazy, a video. And he would do a video, just a separate one-off video for her company, and would get like 10,000 views. I'm like, why are you paying this much money for something that doesn't get any views? It didn't really make a lot of sense. So part of me thinks this may have been an FBI sting information where they had someone pretending to be Russian to try to entrap right-wing influencers. And again, I'm not defending her because she should have had her lawyer look at it. But I don't, if I were to guess, I don't think she had any malicious intent. It was just like, wow, these people want to pay us money. No strings attached. Just, they're interested in starting a media company. They're excited about what we're doing and they let us have creative control, because everyone, Tim Pool and Lauren Southern and all these people that were involved with this operation, they said they were never told like, oh, you have to give a pro-Russian slant or anything like that. So I can see for Laura Chin's point of view, she might have thought, oh, someone just wants to invest in Russia or a company, where she would have been okay if they filled out the proper paperwork. So I don't know. It to me, it's not a huge thing. It's hard for me to get mad at her based Hoppa, but she really did disappear, which is probably smart. Her lawyers probably told her to keep down. I haven't seen Laura Chin ever since that happened. I never, as a disclaimer, I've never talked to her. I have talked to Lauren Southern personally. Years ago I did. But I've never talked to Laura Chen, so I don't know anything about that whole. This is what I'm just reading online in the news, so it's all allegations. It could be false. I don't know. But yeah, that is interesting. So, thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate that. All right, Britain, boy, they're in a lot of trouble with their leadership now, Labor. Their government just despises them. And here's a little bit about this and a call-in that kind of describes what's happening.
The first 100 days of Labour have been an unmitigated disaster.
It really has. Ever since he was elected their new prime minister, his approval just totally tanked. It's scary stuff he wants to do. They want to cut off heat to old people. They want to try to confiscate farmlands and sell it to BlackRock. It's really dark shit.
I think they've been marked by sleaze, scandal, cronyism, and incompetence. But above all, they've been marked by the ideological decision to remove the winter fuel allowance from 10 million pensioners. That has overshadowed everything. Keir Starmer keeps saying that.
So Starmer, they're cutting off the fuel allowance. I guess some of their old retired people, they have a program to help because, England can be cold in the winter despite global warming supposedly. And they're like, sorry, old people, we're just going to cut you off because we got to send this money to Ukraine and we got to give it to these Africans coming in here.
There's a £22 billion black hole in the finances. Yeah, which is why they need to remove 1.4 billion of winter fuel allowance. Yet I've just worked out on the back of a post-it note that since July, Labour have spent £70 billion, 22 billion on carbon capture and storage.
That's a Green Deal bullshit.
11.6 billion on foreign aid, 8.5 billion on CB Energy, 7.5 billion on the Wealth Fund, 3.6 billion to Ukraine, and on and on and on. Matthew, that comes to 68.5 billion pounds. So they are lying. You think not only about the pensioners, the 10 million pensioners, but also about the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of workers who have lost their jobs. That's Port Talbot Steel in Wales, at Grangemouth in Scotland, at Harland and Wolff. And these are disastrous decisions, not to mention 100,000 jobs in Scotland at risk from the ban on offshore oil and gas drilling. Labour are not sticking to Labour values.
Yeah, they don't care. They're not about labor or the working man. They're just about replacing the British people. That's all they are anymore. It's sort of like our Democratic Party. They don't really care about the working man anymore. It's really sad what's happening to Britain. They've become like a police state there. It's a very, very dark place right now. And I hope they get through that. Because I admire the British people. They help spread civilization through the world, and it is sad to see them end up that way. And just some more examples of what's happening in Britain because of their immigration policies, the crime and everything they're seeing. And again, this is. Wherever you are, you will see this when you get a certain demographic in. So here it is. This is London. Let me just turn off the sound. Guy just walked right up. It looks like an African stole that lady's purse. And if they fought her, they probably would have been convicted of a hate crime. It's just crazy. We shouldn't have to live this way. And this whole immigration enriches our lives. It doesn't. It's a disaster. And it is sad to see that. All right. Oops. Let me just get this back up here. All right, let me just see here. All right, let's see here. We will, I'm going to end here with our dog video here. This is funny. Take a look at this. Little dog. It's a sheepdog. Look at that sheep. Aw. The dog is just not ignoring the sheep. It's just great. The sheep is like, oh, come on, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Come on. And the dog is just like looking elsewhere. It's like, I don't care about you. That is great. That is really cute. All right, guys. I'll be working on my funky dance tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate this. And thank you. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.